Hi guys, welcome back to a new video. I'm Ben Beps and today I'll be reviewing the language learning app called LingWing. LingWing is a language learning application which isn't so well known as other apps, as it only has 50,000 plus downloads on the Google Play Store. Unfortunately, LingWing only offers Spanish and Georgian courses from English, and being a Georgian app, it has a couple of English spelling mistakes in the menus, but the good thing is when you're actually in the course there's nothing wrong with spelling or anything there, and it's actually a very well made course for learning Spanish, for being an app so underrated as it is. The app works through a text messaging style system. It basically sends you a text, not on your phone, it's not like a normal text. It is a text in the app. It has like its own text messaging system, which is really cool. I haven't seen it done by other apps. And it prompts you with a word in Spanish, which you have to reply to in English, or a word in English which you put the translation of in Spanish, or any other exercise. It has different exercises as well which it prompts you to do, and then you always type the response or you can speak the response. So it always kind of feels like you're having a conversation with somebody, but at the same time it feels like it is something which is teaching you, which is really clever. And as I said, it's not something I've seen done before in a language learning app. So I'm going to break down in this video whether LingWing is actually a good investment, because it is paid to get a premium subscription, and whether it will be the best app for you to use. I'll give you a few pros for the app, so why you should get it. As I said, it is unique. It's not a style which I've seen done before, so even if you already use the main language learning apps, you might want to just have a look at this one anyway because of the way it teaches you differently. So it's not really an alternative to this app, it's just its own app whether you want to use this style of learning or not. It also covers a lot of grammar. In every lesson it teaches you a new grammar thing and it gets you to practice it lots. It goes quite in depth about when to use certain pieces of grammar, etc. Much more than some other apps have. I've done some app reviews in the past and I've said they should include more grammar sections because it doesn't tell you enough. Well, this app is the complete opposite. This app tells you a lot. It has a very detailed amount of grammar on it, and probably more than it needs to for the level of Spanish it is teaching you when you come across that grammar. It has a grammar recap section as well, so if you press the menu section you can go and see all the grammar which you have learnt or which you're going to learn. Or if you just need to check up on something, you've forgotten the rule, you can always just go and look at that section, which I've also said some other apps need to do, which they haven't done. And this app has it before I've even suggested it, so it's definitely ahead of some of the more mainstream apps in some cases, but behind in others. It has good audio recordings as well, slow, but not too slow, easy to understand for beginners, because the majority of the course is aimed at beginners. So I don't think you'd have any problem trying to understand the Spanish in the course at the beginning. It also prompts you to type, being a text messaging style, and this helps you to retain memory, because if you're constantly typing the same words and new words, etc. repeatedly, then it's going to be spaced repetition, but you're also doing an action on it rather than just reading it, so you're going to retain that memory. You learn the language in depth. As I said, it's got in-depth grammar. It also teaches you in-depth sentences which are more complex. So despite the fact that it doesn't teach you up to a very high level of Spanish, it gives you more complex sentences for the level you are at. So you will only be able to speak about basic things after using this course, but you'll be able to speak well about those basic things, much better than you would have done if you would have done a course to that level on another app. It's got good design for a little known app as well, so they've definitely got a good graphic designer. I know it's not much to do with language learning, but there's a lot of apps which aren't very well known which just have terrible design. It just needs to be redone, whereas this app actually has done it really well. It's also got leaderboard and statistics, so you can compete against other people to try and get to the top of the leaderboard to show that you've been the most active learner this week, month, year, all time. And you can also see your own statistics, how many hours you've put into the course so far, and what level you're at, etc. Okay, so now for some cons for the app, maybe reasons why you should use a different app over LingWing. It's very repetitive as it only has one learning method. It is all the same, that text message style, and it did begin to get very boring after a while, after I'd been using it for a few days, and it just gradually began to feel like, oh, do I have to do this? More than like, yeah, I'm actually learning something, because although you're learning something, it just gradually becomes all the same, and it's just, you lose motivation to go and do it. Despite it being a unique twist on language learning as well, it isn't the most interesting way to learn a language. Other apps with photos, etc. are a lot more intriguing when you're learning it, like matching things together and playing all these different games or whatever, than just literally typing a response to a text styled thing all the time. It isn't the most engaging way of learning it. It could introduce some different exercises as well as those text message style things. Not necessarily completely different, but if they just added a few pictures and got you to match things up as I just said, or just be creative, just something a little bit different other than the continuous messages it does, then that would make it a little bit more engaging for the language learner. Also, it only has Spanish and Georgian courses. A lot of apps I say are good because they have a lot of languages. Well, this is one thing this app lacks. It only does Spanish and Georgian, and I don't know how many people are actually going to be learning Georgian. So I'd say the only advantage to this app is the Spanish course, and although it is a very good Spanish course, it only goes up to the end of A-level. When I say A-level, I don't mean the type of exams in England. I mean the traditional way of learning a language. You go level A, level B, level C, and it's basically considered that once completing a level C, you are pretty much fluent in a language, and once you're into a level B, that's like a GCSE level, and at the end of a level B, that's an A-level, as in the exams in England. Well, this only teaches the A-level of that proficiency graph thing, so it really doesn't teach much about a language. That is halfway towards a GCSE, having completed this A section, and you only really be able to talk about the weather and the time and basic stuff like that. So although you have a good knowledge of how to talk about those things, you really won't know loads in Spanish. So if you're trying to become fluent, I suggest getting a different app to LingWing, but this is definitely a good basis for getting basic Spanish in your head. It is also time consuming for what you are doing. When I was 2 hours into the course, I was like, hold on, I'm still doing this. This is still very basic stuff. I've spent 2 hours on this app. Surely I should be further than where I am. So it does take a lot of time to get through the content which you're doing, which is fair enough in one sense because it is very in-depth for the level which you're learning at, but in another sense you want to be getting through it quicker than it really takes. And obviously it's repetitive as well, so you don't really want to be doing something repetitive and time consuming. So in conclusion, I'm going to give LingWing a 2.5 star review out of 5. It only does Spanish, so if you're a patient language learner and you want to learn Spanish, then this could be a 4-star app for beginners, possibly even 5-star if you're literally just wanting to learn the very basics. But overall, for general language learners, I'm going to give it a 2.5 star. There are definitely better apps out there you could get if you were just a general language learner, ones which could be more engaging, etc. Although that's not to say LingWing is a terrible app, because I think it has very good potential, and if they worked on it, added a few more different exercises and stuff, and a couple more languages, then that could easily get up to a 4-star. So that is my review for LingWing done. If you enjoyed, if you found it useful, remember to like it. Comment down below if you're going to be using this app, or if you'd like to try it out, the link is in the description. And I'll see you all in the next video, everybody. Hasta luego.